What's up, everybody? Trad West Podcast back with another episode. So, this week's episode, it's not anything that I did a bunch of research on. I'm just going to kind of speak from the heart on something that I believe in that honestly probably isn't going to be that popular in conservative um, households, mindsets. And it actually might more so lend with a lot of the lazy socialist left, but it's just kind of my personal opinion. Um, Basically on the current work schedule that most typical people work, like your standard 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday off type work schedule. And I'm pretty much involved in this now. It wasn't what I've always worked. Um, but I gotta be honest with you, I do not care for it, and I would have no problems um having it changed. That said, that would take a lot of government overreach to like demand all businesses go about it this way. So I don't know that I fully agree with that part, but let me just kind of explain. Your typical Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That's 5 days you're working just to get the measly Saturday and Sunday off. Now, me being very pro family and time is the most important thing you can have when it comes to family in particular. Um, 2 days to see your family while working 5 days just seems like a complete ripoff and not cool to me. So that is mainly where I'm coming at this, not so much from the perspective of, oh, we shouldn't be working, um, and I just want to sit by the beach all day and not work a job. No, but like, who came up with this 5 days on just to have 2 days off? Like, can we not do a 4-3 split at least? Um, Whether that be you get Friday off now or you get Monday off now. Obviously, every job's going to be different, but I'm just speaking from the standpoint of your average job that's a Monday through Friday. Hey, why not Monday through Thursday? Give people Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Because honestly, the weekend goes by way too quick. If you got stuff to do, it's barely enough time to get anything done. And then, maybe it's not so much an issue if you're someone who lives in a big city and all your closest family and friends are within, 20 minutes of each other. But when you live kind of far away from family and friends, like you feel bad for not seeing a certain family member, feel bad for not seeing a friend for a really long time. But it's like, if I got to drive 3+ hours just to go see a person and I only get Saturday, Sunday off, like, that's my entire weekend gone. I have other stuff to do around the house, not to mention if you have kids, animals to take care of. It's really hitting me more so as I got older. Granted, I didn't work this schedule when I was younger. When I was younger, I worked shift work, which was like Panama shifts. 12-hour shifts were the norm, but it was like a 3 on, 2 off schedule. And it'd go like maybe every other weekend or something like that. If it worked up right, you'd have off. But I didn't care what days I had off. I just liked having days off. So a lot of it was 12-hour shifts, but it was like 3 days on, 2 days off, um, 3 days on, 3 days off, something like that, where it would, you'd have every 3 days, you'd rarely work more than 3 days in a row. Granted, they were 12s a lot of the time. I loved that schedule because you got more days off at the end of the month. Like, if you add up the person working Monday through Friday compared to your Panama shift, you had more days off. Like, yes, you worked 12s at times, but it was like, who can't handle 3 days to get 2 or 3 days off? I loved that type of schedule. I'm going to be honest. I loved it. But this Monday through Friday, like, okay, you get up at the butt crack of dawn, to go to work, and then you get off and you got a couple hours to do stuff. But my days right now, pretty much go wake up super early, get into work. Don't take a lunch so that I can, spend 5 minutes at my desk eating my eggs usually that I bring as my kind of brunch, just so I can maybe leave a little bit earlier to get home to the dogs. Get home, let the dogs out, work out, then eat and or cook. Might have to cook, so then I'm prepping the meal. And then, if it's if I gotta do stuff around the house, I got the chickens I gotta check on. I gotta check on the chickens. Generally, I'll do that like right after I work out. Um, and then maybe I have a little bit of free time to watch a TV show or two, or just relax out on the front porch if it's nice weather out. Maybe have a beer or two. Um, that's the weekend usually. But during the week, once you get stuff done, you barely got any time to spend with your family. And then the weekend, like, what's the chances of you not having anything to do? And then I know people are gonna from the right are gonna come attack this, like, you socialist, you communist. But family time is like the most important thing. It's more important than clocking away for some corporate job, some company that doesn't care about you. Why can't we have a 4-day work week, 3 days off? You're still working more days than you have off. Okay. You're still working more, but that 3-day weekend could go a long ways. Whether it just be more quality time with your immediate family at home, you got an extra day to get stuff done. Or, as I stated, like my family and friends, we don't necessarily live close to each other. The closest relative I have to me right now is my brother, which is like just under an hour away. And the rest are, let's see, my parents are about an hour and a half away now. And the rest are 3+ hours away from my like actual family members. This including aunts, uncles, grandparents. And, you know, grandparents, the little that I have left, they're reaching the end of their life. And I feel terrible for not getting to visit more. But it's like 4-hour drive. You got other stuff to do on the weekend. I can't just come visit all the time. And then before you know it, they're gone, and you're regretting like, why couldn't I have visited more often? Well, if we had 3-day weekends, I think a lot more people could be enticed to, hey, it's a 3-day weekend. I can make that 4-hour drive to go visit, spend 2 days visiting, and then come back and still have that last day to kind of get settled back in, finish some stuff around the house before I have to go back to work. So, this isn't something I did a bunch of crazy research on. I was just feeling it one day and was like, you know what? I want to talk about that because it's probably more in line with the left. They seem to be the ones who don't want to work a lot, and probably less popular with the right, who's just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, work, 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 work. But family and time with your family is more important over everything. I don't care how much you're making at a job. You're not going to get time back. I don't have children yet, but I can only imagine the people with children feel double the amount, if not more, watching their kids just go from being babies to grown in an instant. And you're like, where'd the time go? Well, most of that time was probably you spent working away from them so you could provide. So maybe let's meet a middle ground here. I know there's a lot of hate toward working from home, remote type work. Doge is cracking down on it. The federal government's cracking down on it. And my views on that is I would be more okay with like a hybrid schedule. Maybe you don't want to do Monday through Thursday, Friday completely off. Let's give people 1 day a week where they can telework. So, it's technically a work day, but we're not gonna, hold their feet to the fire. If they can get stuff done at home, they spend a couple hours at home doing stuff. But depending on the job, especially a lot of jobs, like HR jobs, joke, probably shouldn't be a job, but nevertheless, they are jobs. That's mainly spent doing like Zooms, checking email. You could definitely do that stuff from home. So I have no problem with people working full time from home, depending on the job. I do tend to side with the people that are anti work from home, just on the socialization aspect being good. So I think you definitely should still be interacting with people in person occasionally. But I'd also be for a more hybrid, like, hey, you work at the office a few times a week, then you work from home a day or two, um, and then you're good. So I'd be up for a more hybrid schedule, but companies should be a little flexible on the work from home day. Like the reason I like if you can work from home is because if you have family, children, pets, you can be home while still doing work. But hey, the kid needs something. The pet needs something. You can take them out real quick. You can go do this. You can take a break and then come right back to the work. You can't do that if you're off in the office for 8+ hours a day. You're literally stuck there all day. And a lot of that work, a lot of people's like main job, like the jobs people work that are in an office setting, a lot of it's like you're killing time in between. Hey, I'm really waiting for this person to get back with me on this email before I can move any further. Hey, I'm really waiting on this. I'm really waiting on that. And from my time in the government, I've noticed I was always the type of person that wanted to try to get stuff done early in the day as much as possible. Because that way, if I like knock everything out, I don't take a lunch. Yo, I will, be leaving earlier than rather than staying later. But so many of the people would not be responding to my emails till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon at the least, at the soonest. Sometimes they're not responding till like 5. It's like, okay, you just decided to hit send right as you walked out the door, so you won't have to follow up any afterward. But these people sending at the end of the day, it's like, man, I've been waiting on this all day. You're just now getting to me. Like, I get it. You might have had other stuff going on, but it's a common occurrence. What I noticed on the government side, and I was always, hey, I'm trying to knock stuff out as early as possible in the AM. That way we can cruise after lunch, even though I don't take a lunch. But that's the problem too. You're sitting at your desk, not taking a lunch. Everyone else is gone for an hour plus. Because let's be honest, especially when you're talking government jobs, who's only staying gone for an hour? Another thing that I believe in when it comes to the typical work schedule is that our lunch should be included in your 8-hour shift. As in 8 hours, you leave for lunch. Typically, it's you work 8 hours, that extra hour lunch makes it a 9-hour day. No, 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 no. These companies should include lunch in the 8-hour work schedule. So technically, you're only working 7 hours. You get an hour lunch. Or hell, 30. Some people only offer 30 minutes lunch. Whatever it is that the lunchtime they offer, it should be included in on the work day. AKA, I fast all day and I don't go and eat lunch anywhere. I'm leaving after the 7-hour mark because I didn't take a lunch. That's how I believe that's what I believe in. I think it's fair. I think the company should be paying you basically to go to lunch is what I'm saying. If it's required, because a lot of these companies are required to offer a lunch, it should be included in your work scheduled day, as in that's part of the 8 hours, not 8 hours plus 1, which makes it a 9-hour day. Again, that's just another hour away from your family. Now we haven't talked about, like, people actually having a long commute to work. And granted, it is personal choice, but still, some people don't wanna live in a huge city where they have to deal with traffic on a regular occurrence. Some people wanna live outside city limits. So, me personally, I got about a 30-minute drive to work. So, an hour of my day, roughly an hour of my day, is spent commuting. There are people that drive way longer than me where I work. So, some of them are spending upward to 2+ hours a day on a commute. But yes, you could say that's personal choice, but again, like, am I gonna fault someone for wanting to live outside city limits, have some land to raise their family on, rather than be stuck in a little, like, cubicle all day at work and then stuck in a little shitty apartment within city limits or tiny little house on an less than an acre of plot of land? I'm all for, giving people more time off. Now, again, this this is, you gotta be a little selective. You gotta know your employees. So for the huge companies, I get why this might not be feasible, but I'll give you an example of a, YouTuber news, Timcast, Tim Pool. I would love to eventually get to a point where I have employees and I can basically tell them, "Hey, you need paternity leave, you need sick leave, it's unlimited." Because that's kinda how Tim Pool operates at Timcast. People need time off, we give it to them. There's no set amount. Now, sounds awesome, but I also live in reality where people will take advantage. So, again, you gotta really know your employees, but I would love to get to a point where I have multiple employees and I'm telling them, "Hey, there's no limit on your time off. You take as much time as you need. Just, don't take advantage. And whenever you're ready, whenever you're feeling better, whenever you're done with the kids at home, then you come back." But I do strongly believe that if you made the work environment a lot more employee friendly like that, people would be less inclined to take advantage because they would actually have a respect and a like for their employer and what they're doing more so than your typical disdain. I'm just doing it to collect a paycheck. I don't really like my employer, but it pays the bills and they don't care about me. So I'm just going to show up, do my time, and leave. And I think if you had an employer that could be a little more respectful, offer you all the time off you needed, or at least more than what a lot of companies do, you'd respect it more and you'd be less inclined to take advantage. You'd be like, hey, I really respect this company and what they're offering me. I'm going to show up and put the work in. So I know that's wishful thinking on some people's sense. Some people are out there will just take advantage of the system. I get it. I noticed that a lot being around the government employees during COVID. A lot of them just took advantage, took advantage. Oh, sorry, test positive for COVID again. That's another 2 weeks off for me. Sorry, I can't come in. Test positive for COVID. So I get it. You got to really know and trust your employees for that type of system to work. But at the end of the day, I just feel time is the most precious commodity we have, and too much of it is being spent slaving away for people who don't care about us. just so we can pay the bills for us and our loved ones. So I would really be in favor of revamping the system and just giving people more time off. At the very least, an extra day, or a work from home day where you're not, super monitoring them. So maybe they're working from home, maybe they're taking a little time off to their family, and they're doing a little work here and there. So let me know what you think of this. Um, I know that, like I said, the people on the right that are workaholics, they're probably not going to care for this. The super capitalists, and then some on the left might actually agree with this with me, although they'd probably like to work not at all and just get money from the government. I don't believe in that. But I just believe time is precious, especially when you got a family. Give people another day off. They're still working more days than they have off. They'd be more inclined to get to spend time with loved ones who they might not normally get to see, and or just be more productive at home getting stuff done. Saturday, Sunday goes by way too fast. You cannot get enough done. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe at Trad West Podcast on all platforms. Till next time, Trad West Podcast out.